Hello friends, this is Paul, an amateur radio call sign is Oscar Mike 0 Echo Tango, and welcome to my new video about the antenna construction. The end-fed antennas are very popular antennas in these days because of a great portability, good a practical use of the end-fed antenna when you are able to put the antenna on the tree or hang the antenna between tree and the other tree. The end-fed antennas are very specific antennas, or they are non-resonant or a resonant antenna. And therefore I decided to build two different types of the transformers. So let me explain why we should use the transformers on the wire antennas. Normally, when we made dipoles, they are fed right into the middle of the wire for a 50 ohm impedance of the antenna. But if you feed the wire on the end of the antenna, the impedance is much higher, and then you have to use some kind of transformer for a transformation the high impedance to the 50 ohm of your coaxial cable or the feed line. So therefore it is needed to build some kind of transformer. So here you can see the construction or the final product or the final transformer I made. So this is the 9-to-1 UNUN for a random wire antenna. And this is the 49-to-1 UNUN for the end-fed half-wave antenna. So as you can see, the size or the design of both of them is pretty the same. Just a little difference, as you can see here. We have one more terminal here on the side because of the counterpoise. If you use a 9-to-1 UNUN and non-resonant antenna wire, you have to use also the counterpoise. Or in emergency situation, you can just use the feed line like a counterpoise, but the length of the feed line should be at least more than 5 meters. If you use a 49-to-1 UNUN, this is a half-wave antenna, this is a resonant antenna. There is no need to use a counterpoise with this transformer. So there is just one terminal on top for the wire antenna and for the rope. So let me explain how it works. Actually, the mounting of this little UNUN is like this way. So here on the terminal you can solder the antenna wire or just crimp to this soldering eye, as you can see here, and hang or fix this the second end of the wire to the tree or some other isolated object. And here from this side, right under the washer, just have to use the rope and a small clamp, as I can show you here. And with this clamp, just hook the rope to the other object, like a other tree or something else. So here is the wing nut for very easy installation of the wire. So here from the bottom you can see the BNC connector female for a very easy and quick mounting of the or connection of the feed line. So the same here with the 9-to-1 UNUN, same here on top, same here on the bottom, but this terminal is added due to the counterpoise as well. Okay, so here you can see all those parts I prepared for build the 9-to-1 and 49-to-1 UNUNs. The main parts are these two ferrite cores or turrets, and the material which you can see, or the type here on the paper, like FT8243, which is good for a range of the shortwave bands. The wire I will use for them is the diameter 0.5 millimeter, and for the 49-to-1 UNUN I will use this single wire. It's a double enameled wire, 0.5 millimeter in diameter. And for 49-to-1 UNUN I will use these three types or three colors of the wire with the same diameter, 0.5 millimeter. I choose to use the yellow, red and the blue, and you can see the lengths of the wire for one specific UNUN. For 49-to-1 I will use 490 millimeter length, single wire, and the triple wire will use 9-to-1 UNUN, and length is 280 millimeter. So the other parts, like BNC sockets, of course we need two of them with mounting type to the panel with the clamps or the screws on the back, and of course the soldering eye here. So we need both of them. Then we have a M5 screws. I have 3 of them. So here is the one with the hex nut, and the length of this one is okay, I'm not sure. I think that 12 millimeters. No, it's a 15 millimeters or 16 millimeters. Then we have 2 screws which are 20 millimeter long, and this one I have, no, this is 26, 25 millimeter with the hex inside. Then we have these washers for the M5 diameter inside hole, the wing nuts also for the M5 screw, and the soldering eyes. 3 little bigger soldering eyes are for the antenna wire, and 2 are for antenna wire, and the third one is for the random wire antenna, or for a 9-to-1 UNUN counterpoise. Here, these 3 smaller soldering eyes for also M5 hole. These are used inside of the UNUNs. 2 of them for the antenna terminals, and third one for the counterpoise inside. So 2 nuts and 3 washers for counterpoise terminal. Also, we need just maybe 6 centimeter, maybe 5 centimeter long little insulated wire for a connection between this socket and the ground, between the ground of the socket and counterpoise terminal. So here you can see how it looks like. So inside will be, I don't know if you see it, but inside is the screw with the soldering eye, and outside you can see 3 washers and 2 nuts. In between them is the soldering or crimping eye for a counterpoise for 9-to-1 UNUN. That's the tube for 49-to-1 half-wave end-fed antenna. There is no terminal here. There is no need to use a counterpoise if you use a half-wave antenna dipole. Well, so the tube I use for these antennas is a 25 millimeter thicker wall tube, and the length of each one is 6 centimeter or 60 millimeter length of each tube. Of course, I have to use these plastic cups for each one here on both ends of these UNUNs. Alright, so here I pre-made for you two finished transformers. First one for the 9-to-1, which is a little more complicated, and here the 49-to-1 UNUN made of single wire. So let me explain first the 9-to-1 UNUN. As you can see, the construction of this little UNUN is made of a 3-filler winding, and here we have 9 turns of this 3-filler winding. The blue wire is for the antenna connection, and as you can see here inside, we have a center pin connected to the center of the BNC socket, and the ground connection is going to the yellow wire and to this little piece of wire, which will be connected to the counterpoise terminal here. So then we have the 49-to-1 UNUN. This is for an end-fed half-wave antenna, which doesn't need any counterpoise, so there is no any connection for a counterpoise terminal. And the center pin, which is very important to mention, that the center pin have to be connected to the second turn of the primary winding. So we start we started with a twisted wire. I will explain it a little bit later. Twisted wire, and we made 2 turns of the twisted wire, and the end of this primary is connected to the center pin of the BNC connector. Then we continue to make another 12 turns, and you see that the 8 turns is going through the core to the opposite side here, and then continue to make another, I think, 7 turns to the end for the antenna connection right here. Yeah, construction of the 49-to-1 is a little bit simpler than 9-to-1. Okay, so the caps for the UNUNs are 2. So the first one is for the BNC connector, and top cap is for the antenna terminal or antenna connection, and it is made of these parts. So inside is used a 20 or 23 millimeter long M5 screw with the hex inside, or the hex hole inside, and the small soldering eye, as you can see, for the antenna wire connection from the UNUN, and inside you can see also the washer, and the same bigger washer is used here on the opposite side of the UNUN. Here we have a nut, and also again these 2 bigger washers. The reason why I made this this way is that the space between those 2 washers is for a rope. This is the rope which will be fixed to the tree or something else. And here is the space for, or the soldering eye for the antenna wire itself. And you can solder this wire or just crimp the wire inside this eye. And I used also the wing nut for easy installation of the wire. You can actually make a few of them and exchange the lengths as you wish to work on what band. As you can see inside, there is no washer, just the soldering eye, which is a smaller soldering eye, and the hex nut, and the length of this nut is something around 16 millimeters, I think. There is no need to use a bigger screw because it's not much practical. I'm not using the wing nut here because I think that the counterpoise will be not very often changeable. If you wish, of course, you can replace it for the wing nut. So here you can see three smaller washers and this soldering eye as well. All right, so everything is prepared, everything I have. So just let me mate this little UNUNs. For those who are not able to mate itself, I've just prepared a few of them, and if you wish, go to my website om0et Oscar Mike 0 Echo Tango.com, and you can order 49-1 or 9-1 UNUN directly from there. The wire is not included because I presume that everybody wants to make a own antenna for a different band, so I think that the best option will be to not include the wires inside and just use as you wish. So everything is prepared, and now it's time to build these UNUNs. So let's get started. I'm going to start with the 49-1 UNUN, and we need to cut the 490 millimeter of the copper wire, which is 0.5 millimeter diameter. It's right here. Okay, so here we have the wire, and now we have to create a second primary turns, and we need to bend and twist the first portion of this wire. So we have to measure around 10 centimeters of this wire. So let's say here, and here in this point we have to bend this wire and twist together, but we need to leave a small piece of this wire here from the end to connect the transformer to the B and C connector. So let me bend it right here, and let's measure 45 millimeter from the end of this bended portion of the wire. So here we have 45 millimeters somewhere here, and that's the start point where the wire should be twisted to the end. So if you twist the wire, just make sure that the twisting is similar to this whole part of the wire. I think 10 or 11 times if you twist the wire should be fine. Okay, so here we have this a free part of the wire, and that's the part for the primary turns, and we need to make two primary turns. Now when we prepare the wire for transformer, so take the ferrite toroid, and now we will make a first two turns of the primary coil. So put the wire inside the core, bend it here, okay, and make a first two turns. It's turn number one. You see, when the wire is going through the core, that's the turn number one, and now turn number two. Okay. So you see that we have two turns of the primary coil, and that free piece of wire will be connected to the BNC connector, to the center pin, and this one will be the ground connection. And this longer part of the wire will be the second or the secondary coil. I will fix those two turns with the cable tie, and just be sure that you fix these two turns right to the middle. Alright. So as you can see that the turns were secured here inside, and we can continue to make the rest. So leave free this little part of the wire and continue to make another 12 turns of this longer wire. Okay, so now we have 7 turns of the wire. So let's count again with me. We have turn number 1, turn number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And now it's important to say that turn number 8 will be a little different. Just go through the core, to the opposite side of the toroid, right here, and begin to make another turns on the opposite side. So you see that this 8th turn is going through the core. Alright, be sure, avoid these little loops. This is very dangerous. If you are making a transformer, just be sure that this will not happening. Yeah, I'm doing very quickly and for the video purpose, so of course it's not very nice. As you can see that this one is perfect, and you see that the wires are tightly winded to the turret core, so the same you should make also with your transformer. So let's count with me again how many turns we have already. So this is the start point, turn number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, number 6, number 7. This one is number 8. Then we have 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So this is the turn number 13, and we need 14, so just one left. All right, so and here we go. We have a 14 turns of this story, and it looks pretty good. It's not so bad. As you can see that these turns are not very well made. I say again, it is for the purpose of the video, and you should make them a bit tighter. Okay, so make sure that the wires are tight winded to the core. And now when this transformer has been finished, we have to fix this last turn of the coil also with this cable tie. Okay, so here we have the hot end of the coil. Connected will be to the center pin of the BNC connector. The second end of the twisted wire will be connected to the ground, and this one will be connected to the antenna. For the 921 UNUN, we need 3 times of 280 millimeter long colored wires, and I will use the red one, yellow, and the blue one. Okay, so we have 3 colors and the same length of the wires. Okay, so let's begin to make the coil. So as you can see here on the diagram, we should prepare 3 wires in a different color. So you see that we have to start with the yellow, in the middle should be the red one, and then should be the blue one. And that's the same here. So I have a yellow, in the middle will be the red one, and then it should be the blue one. Alright, so and in this order you should wind you should wind your turret. So, as you see, we start here. So just put this wire inside, whole wire, and leave some kind, I don't know, maybe 2 centimeters will be fine, free, and then just continue to winding the turns. But again, we have to start with 1 or 2 turns and then fix the wire with the cable tie. So this will be the turn number 1, but we have to be sure that we still have the colors on place. Okay. So again, this is the order. So it's a yellow, red, and the blue. Alright, so we have 2 turns already. Now I will fix these first turns with this tie. Okay. Okay, so first turn is finished and fixed. So now I will continue to make the other ones. But still be sure that the colors are in the same order. Okay, so let's count the turns. So we have turn number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, 6. Now it's going to be turn number 7, and we need 9 turns. Okay, now should be 9 turns. So again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So we have 9 turns, and we have to check. We have to check if the color order is the same. So let's check. We have yellow, red, and blue. Yellow, red, and blue. Yellow, red, and blue. No, this is the problem. You see that? Yeah, I just messed up these colors right here. So I'm going to repair it. And as you can see, I repaired these all colors are in the same order, in same direction. Just make sure you do not make the same mistake as me. You save a lot of time. So let me again fix this first turn. Okay, and now I'm ready to fix the second portion of this coil right here in this point. And now, as you can see here, the connections between the colors. So we have to connect the yellow with the red one and red with the blue one. This red one will be connected to the blue one, so here. And this red one, so this one, will be connected to the yellow one, like here, with this one. Okay, now I think it's clear. So I have to remove the isolation from this little wires. So I will be back in a minute. Okay, so as you can see that the isolation has been removed from all those 4 wires, and now I can solder the ends and join them together. It's easy. Okay, so I would say that in this moment the 9-to-1 UNUN has been finished. The wire for the antenna will going straight up and the ground going straight down. And here, as you can see, this join here. So we need to solder the another wire, just a little piece of wire, and connect it to the center of the BNC connector. So let me find a little piece of wire and solder it to this pin here, to the red wire. So I found just a little short piece of the wasted wire, the red one. So I'm going to bend it, leave a short piece of wire, and then solder it to this point. All right. So as you can see, that is the 9-to-1 finished transformer. This diagram, as you can see here on the screen, I will provide down into the video description. That is the link for this picture if you like. 2 transformers has been finished, so now I can start with the construction of the mini UNUNs. I'm going to make these little tubes, and the length of each tube is exactly 60 millimeters, as you see. Okay, so I have 2 tubes. Now I need to finish the ends of both of them. So these both tubings were finished with perfect edges, and now we're ready to make holes to the center of the cups. One hole for the screw and the other hole for the BNC connector. And for the center of the hole I have prepared this little a tool or form when I can achieve a center to each one. So as you can see, this way I will do the holes to all of them. And 2 of them will be for the M5 screw for an antenna, so I will leave them, and the rest of the 2 cups I have to make a bigger hole for the BNC socket. It's still small, so need to be bigger. Alright, so now it's fine. And also good for the sockets. Alright, so once we have finished these caps, we need to make just one more hole, and we have to make something like this. This is for the 9-to-1 UNUN and the counterpoise connection or terminal, so I have to measure at 25 millimeter from one end of the tube. So 25 millimeters, and drilling the hole for marking. Alright, and then the finish the hole with the M5, and that's it. For the terminal we have to use this little soldering eye and this hex nut M5, about 16 millimeters long, and somehow put this little screw into the hole. Yeah, sometimes it's a little bit tricky, but yeah, it was fine. This time it was fine. Okay, so here on top, one washer and the nut. Okay. Take the 8mm tool and put it inside like this and secure. Don't tie much because of the plastic between. Do not crack the plastic. Alright, I think it's good enough. So, here on top we have to put this little washer, the soldering eye and the other washer, and secure it with this nut. Well, so we have finished grounding terminal, or the terminal for the counterpoise. So now the antenna terminals. We have this 25mm long screw with the hex inside, and put the small soldering eye this way, and then bend it like here. The bigger washer on top, and put this screw inside the cap. Okay, now washer here and also nut to secure it. Okay, and do the same with this one, and secure the nut on the screw. Again, don't tie it too much. You not deform the plastic. And the second one. Okay. So Both of them are secured, and now just put the bigger washers on top, then the soldering eyes, and also washers, and secure the terminals with the wing nuts. Okay, and the upper antenna terminals have been finished. Okay, so the final thing is to mount these little BNC sockets into the second caps. So just put this little thing inside. Okay. So before you put this soldering eye inside, this is included soldering eye with the connector. You should bend these ends like this before you put them inside the cap. Okay, so firstly this one, and then this one. Right, so make sure they are sitting down on the bottom. Same here. All right, and now the nut. Once you have the nut inside, just put this tool into the hole, secure the sides of the nut. Okay, and then you can use an old piece of junk, a BNC, a male connector, put it on the socket, and then secure the connector on the cap, to the cap. Okay, and done. And do the same with this one. And now I have to clean the plastic inside. It's nice and clean. And it's time for this little piece of the wire, which will be connection between the ground of the connector and the counterpoise terminal. So one end we have to solder right here to this soldering eye. Not to the middle, but to the side. Okay, and then to the same place will be connected one of the wires of the toroid itself. Okay, so here we have the toroid for 9 to 1 UNUN, which will be connected to this cap. So we have to cut about 1 centimeter or 10 millimeters of the center pin of the red wire. And about 15 millimeters from the yellow wire. So, and of course we have to remove the isolation from the ends of the wires. Okay, so you see that the color or the layer is out, and I have to solder the ends of the wires. So as you can see that the back side is still not fully clean. Okay, now it is good. Okay, so let's start with the center pin. Okay, it's holding. And now put the ground connection inside and solder it. I know this is the harder part of soldering, because you have to put the soldering iron inside and not damage the plastic around. But it is not impossible. Alright, so it is there. You see that both of them, the wire and the coil, is holding inside, and also the center pin is holding fine. So now the coil is prepared for put it inside the tube. And now we have to do the same thing with 49 to 1 UNUN. You can see I cleaned the ends and also soldered them, so just put the wires inside and solder them to the connector. Okay, so just to be sure that the twisted wire, as you can see here, should be connected to the ground, and the single wire should be connected to the center pin of the connector. Okay. Okay, and here we go. So both UNUNs were prepared for installation into the tubes. So all connections were secured. Now I just need to remove the isolation from the end of the wire, connect to the terminal in the tube, and then just finish. I need to connect this wire to the counterpoise terminal, and you have to cut about 2 centimeters off this wire, or 20 millimeters off, and now we have to clean and remove the isolation from the end of the wire and solder the end of this soldering iron and join it. Alright, that's perfect. So as you can see, it's not very sharp, I know. Wait. So as you can see, that connection is done very well. And now just put this wire inside as well. And very carefully you can push also this tube to the side, and this side will be a little bit bigger, and you will very easily to put your toroid inside the tube. Okay. Then you have to make a little bit order inside, because there is still the wire which is much thicker, and it's a little bit tricky to put it inside. Okay, so now just push the sides and it's there. Alright, we have to pull out this wire, and you see that cap just you have to make force on top. Alright, and it's there. No, yeah, and do the same with the 49-to-1 UNUN. This will be a little bit easier because we do not have the other wire. So just put the wire inside. You can push the side of the pipe and put it inside. Just make a force, and it's there. So you see that we have both wires out. So now the final thing is to soldering those wires to the soldering eyes on both caps. And before you solder, you can cut 15 millimeters, or you can leave, you can leave 15 millimeters of the wire out of the tube, and the rest you can cut away. And the same do with the 9-to-1 UNUN. 15 millimeters will be enough to put the wire inside and solder it. Okay, so Once you finished your UNUN, don't forget to keep all clean inside. And you can also blow out the dust from inside, and then just close the cups. And this project has been finished, but it's so hard to put it inside. Okay, so this time I have finished both UNUNs 9:1 and 49:1. So in my next video I could test and see the results on the antenna analyzer. The UNUNs are just a transformers. They are not actually an antenna. Yeah, that's just a part of the antenna. Most important part is the wire, and the wire for a 49:1 UNUN have to be a half wave sized on the band where you want to work. The wire for 9:1 UNUN have to be a non-resonant length of the wire. That is the main difference between 9:1 usage and 49:1 usage. So kind of different antennas, but they looks pretty the same. The other difference is that the 49:1 UNUN and the half-wave dipole antenna doesn't need to connect any counterpoise. That's the reason why there is no any terminal for the counterpoise. The 9:1 UNUN is a non-resonant antenna, and it's required to connect the counterpoise. So that's also a main difference. And the other situation, like if you are in an emergency situation and you do not have the wire for the counterpoise, you can also use your coaxial feed line as your counterpoise. But in this case, the coaxial feed line should be at least 6 meters long, and it will act like a counterpoise. But in this case, you have to count with some RF present on this cable, and this RF may make some noise on your transceiver or microphone. Okay, so that's really important. And if you wish to have more information or details, I have a tables with the wire lengths and the other details on my website. I have a website, Oscar Mike 0 Echo Tango.com or om0et.com, actually my call sign. And for those of you who are not able to make the UNUNs by yourself, or you don't have much time, or you don't have any tools for producing these UNUNs, I'm offering also these UNUNs for sale, and this is also on my website, om0et.com. There is also for sale the ultralight magnetic loop antenna, which is most of the time indoor antenna or also outdoor antenna, good for any SOTA, POTA activity from the beach, from the hotel, from any other QTH. It works pretty well also from indoors and outdoors. It doesn't need any counterpoise, whatever. So just need the tripod and that's it. So thank you very much, guys, for watching. I'm very happy that you staying by here. And in my next video, I would like to test these mini UNUNs in a real conditions with my antenna analyzer possibly. So I hope that maybe my next video or maybe next live stream. So thank you for watching 73, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you like my videos. 73, until next time. Bye bye, good luck.